When you try to change someone's mind, you meet instant resistance. People fight fiercely to defend their beliefs. But when you reshape their identity, resistance vanishes. They no longer feel forced to follow you. They choose to follow you because it reflects who they believe they are. True influence doesn't happen at the surface level of logic. It happens deep within the subconscious. Welcome to strategic anchoring and identity engineering. Attempting to alter a person's individual opinions or rules generates constant friction. The human brain treats direct logical arguments as threats to its personal autonomy. Identity engineering bypasses this friction by shifting the focus from changing behavior to redefining self-perception. Instead of convincing someone to act loyally, you frame the desired behavior as an intrinsic quality they already possess, such as being a vision-driven leader, a trustworthy ally, or a discerning judge of character. When an individual adopts this elevated identity, their subsequent choices naturally fall into alignment to maintain internal consistency. They defend your strategic goals not because you instructed them to, but because doing so validates their own self-image. By anchoring your objectives directly to their personal identity, you cultivate absolute self-reinforcing loyalty that withstands external pressure. Human memory and decision-making are deeply tethered to emotional states. State-dependent anchoring is the practice of systematically pairing feelings of clarity, high status, and security with your presence while allowing feelings of uncertainty or hesitation to exist in your absence. When interacting with a key target, you trigger peak positive emotions through intense validation, strategic praise, or moments of triumph, and precisely link those moments to your personal brand or presence. Over time, a subconscious neuroassociation forms in the target's mind. They begin to view you as the ultimate source of emotional stability and elevated status. Consequently, being away from your influence creates a subtle sense of disorientation or discomfort. This dynamic creates a powerful psychological tether, ensuring they repeatedly return to your sphere of influence to regain that sense of clarity and empowerment. When a high-status individual appears entirely flawless, others instinctively construct psychological defenses, guarding against potential manipulation or deceit. Calculated vulnerability neutralizes these defenses by intentionally exposing minor, carefully selected flaws or controlled admissions of past struggle. By revealing a non-critical weakness, you satisfy the target's desire for authenticity and create an immediate perception of genuine trust. The target's critical filters drop as their brain registers you as human, relatable, and transparent. However, the key lies in absolute precision. The admitted vulnerability must never undermine your core authority or primary competence. Instead, it serves as a psychological Trojan horse. Once their defensive guard is down, your core strategic suggestions and identity anchors pass unhindered into their subconscious, securing deep rapport without compromising your high-status positioning. The human mind cannot tolerate a contradiction between its actions and its beliefs. Cognitive dissonance traps exploit this psychological requirement for harmony by guiding a target to make incremental, voluntary investments early in the relationship. Whether it is granting a minor favor, defending your position in public, or allocating resources toward a shared initiative, each small action forces the target's subconscious to rationalize why they did it. To maintain a coherent self-image, their brain concludes, I am investing in this person because I deeply value and respect them. As these small commitments accumulate, the target becomes psychologically locked into the trajectory. Reversing course would require admitting bad judgment, which the ego vigorously avoids. Through engineered micro-commitments, you turn their own internal psychological need for consistency into an unshakable bond of allegiance. Constant, predictable praise loses its value rapidly, rendering the recipient indifferent and comfortable. The validation vacuum utilizes the powerful psychological mechanics of intermittent reinforcement to make your approval the ultimate high-value commodity. Instead of offering endless positive feedback, you establish a high standard of expectations paired with selective, unpredictable validation. You grant intense approval when key milestones are met, but withhold it during routine interactions, creating a temporary vacuum of affirmation. This intermittent pattern sparks continuous mental engagement in the target. The uncertainty heightens their desire for approval, compelling them to work harder, pay closer attention, and continuously seek your validation. Because your positive feedback is rare and hard-earned, it carries immense emotional weight. The target becomes deeply invested in maintaining your high regard, actively aligning their actions with your goals to ensure they remain inside your circle of favor. Strategic detachment, when paired with calibrated approval, transforms casual cooperation into dedicated, ongoing devotion. The highest mastery of identity engineering occurs when influence becomes entirely invisible, operating as an organic extension of the target's own motivations. As the invisible architect, you do not command, dictate, or overtly steer outcomes. Instead, you design the psychological landscape so thoroughly that the target reaches your predetermined conclusions on their own and defends those conclusions as personal core values. Achieving this standard requires absolute emotional control and subtle execution. You plant foundational ideas through indirect storytelling, guided questions, and structured choice architectures. You allow the target to take credit for breakthroughs and build their self-identity around those concepts. When external challenges arise, they will fight fiercely to protect the strategy, not to serve you, but to protect their own deeply ingrained beliefs and self-image. By operating from the shadows of subconscious influence, you eliminate all residual friction, resentment, and pushback. You create an ecosystem where loyalty is not demanded, but intrinsically felt. Those within your strategic orbit experience complete autonomy, yet every action they take seamlessly executes your overarching master plan. You remain invisible behind the curtain, commanding absolute behavioral direction while leaving zero footprint of manipulation.